Well, some companies are turning to perks like food, happy hours, in some case swag to get workers to return to the office. We actually asked our Twitter followers this question. If you're working from home, would in-office perks incentivize you to return? 65% said no, 35% said yes. Akiko, you and I must be in the 35% because we're back in the office right now.
I didn't say that was the reason I would come back. I said it made me happy. By the way, we should point out that today is our first day back in studio in 2 years, right? We have seen each other outside of work, but it's the first time here. And it was pleasantly surprised to see there was breakfast served.
Yeah.
Pastries. But is that going to entice me to come back? No. You know, I wanted to come back to the studio. I think we both agree that it's good to be in a newsroom where you can exchange ideas and that kind of thing. But this got us thinking because we saw that article in the New York Times that talked about some of the perks that tech companies were throwing out there. The top being a concert from Lizzo, which is great, but you know, doesn't that make you think that these companies are missing the point of why people don't want to come back in? It's flexibility. It's not about having these things thrown at you.
And I think it also discounts that in many cases you don't have a choice. And in fact, that was one response to our Twitter poll, which I found quite funny. Someone mentioning that the best work perk of whatever the offices are offering is like not being laid off. I mean, it is certainly the case that companies, if they say you have to come back, well, that's the agreement that you have with your employer. So you got to come back. But at the same time, it's a tight labor market, right? And that is playing into companies have to give flexibility to their workers in some cases because they will just quit and leave.
Well, I mean that's the number one issue, which is why we're seeing some of these companies throw out these perks, because you're right. You know, as an employee, you have so many options right now. You can say, look, I want more flexibility. If you need me to be back in the office, I'm going to go look for another job. From an employer standpoint, obviously that creates some issues. And especially if you're talking about something like tech, it is so competitive already for the top talent. They don't want those workers walking away.
Go big on the perks. Get like a Warriors playoff ticket or something like that.
We would both go for that.
We would both go for that. Yeah. 100%. Neither of us are Warriors fans.
Well, no, and we're not going to talk about the playoffs.